And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the red Zerg player, the red Zerg player himself, representing Team Stowny Bulls. It is YoungYakov. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing among his two people. It is ReBellioN. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Let's delve into our initial best of 3. Let's go. Let us go here. And I'm curious to see how many games YoungYakov has been grinding here on the ladder, on the PTR. When it comes to our next matchup, YoungYakov is more favored. He definitely is a little bit more, I mean, he's very aggressive in the early to mid game as well when it comes to ZvP. We'll see how ReBellioN can hold his own against YoungYakov. Hoping for a back and forth though. Hoping for that back and forth. So now we are going to be taking our natural. Going hatch first. Likewise, we should be seeing a gate expand here from ReBellioN. Probe scout across the map to confirm the hatch timing, to confirm the lack of gases. Just to make sure that there's no early gas or early pull. ReBellioN pokes in and goes further into the main just in case. So with that, he'll be notified, so you can just go for his own nexus. Just calm down. Oh, it's going to be a hatch pool opener here at YoungYakov. Okay, interesting. Again, welcome to Winter Madness. Winter Madness is one of the larger maps in the map pool. Larger map, longer rush distance by ground. As a result, we do often see a lot more mid-game and mid to late game play on Winter Madness. Zerg players, they do often try to all in and cheese and end the game before getting to that point. So that's why our eyes are mainly going to be on YoungYakov, as he does go for a delayed gas geyser. Still gas is being taken, but much later here for our Zerg player. This will mean delayed link speed, and we might even skip link speed and go into another tech choice. See what he goes for. Likewise, ReBellioN back at home, standard opener, calming down. And from here, we're going to be calming down and saturating our bases. Just catching up in the chat. I very rarely have anything really to say about the game. I think that's in regards to the sound effects. Yeah, I'm curious if there's, was that in the, hold on, was that in the PTR patch notes? Was it like in the bug fixes or something? Hold on. Fix an issue where the Archon lacks several visual and audio indicators. Birth sound. That's what it says. I mean, technically correct, but it's just verbiage I did not expect. But it is in the bug fixes of the PTR. It is in the article. Hold on, I'll post it in the chat. Bam. Fix an issue where Archons lack several visual and audio indicators of the birth sound, splash damage, impact visuals, movement sound, and attack physics. Yes, the Archon has been birthed. It's really weird because the verbiage typically used for an Archon is merging, right? It's you say that the two-eyed Templar, they merged together. You don't say they gave birth to an Archon. Like it's just a really strange word to use there. But sure. They literally say merging complete. Nah, they birthed the Archon together, papi. True. Aye. But yes, it is in the patch notes. It's easy to miss because there's a massive list of quote unquote bug fixes, and apparently that was a quote unquote bug fix. But now Void Ray. Stargate opening into Void Ray. Meanwhile, YoungYakov just going hatch gas full, saturating his own natural, claiming a third base as well. Everything's looking normal. We can see that link speed isn't researched, but we stayed in gas. We did stay in gas here. So with this extra gas income, curious to see if we go for a faster lair or into an Eva chamber into +1 melee. Meanwhile, Void Ray first is interesting to me. This means less harassing damage, of course. We can use this to deflect the lings, to hunt down overlords, but scouting is going to be a little bit more limited here for ReBellioN as he opens up with a second Void Ray. Okay, you have my attention. Usually, if you go for a Void Ray opener, it's just one. It's just one Void Ray to hunt down overlords, and then behind it you go Twilight Council or Fleet Beacon. Instead, going second Void Ray, second Stargate. We're setting up a mass Void Ray. Oh, it's 2020 all over again, papi. Let's go. Let's. I have some repressed memories, or not even repressed, they're there. The memories are there regarding, you know, 4 to 5 Void Rays showing up and then just sniping the main and then backing off. Like, Void Ray openers used to be a lot more common back in the day. Here we can see ReBellioN testing it out here, and he will catch an Overlord. What goes down, pulls away, is Lair first out of YoungYakov, going for the early Roach Horn. No Eva Chamber, no upgrades, earlier Lair, earlier Roach Horn. We'll see what YoungYakov gets into. We'll see if he commits into mass Roaches, as that Roach Horn so far is hidden from the Void Rays. As we continue massing on Void Rays back at home. Now, this can lead one of two ways. Either mass Void Ray into Fleet Beacon, into Void Ray Speed, into Sky Toss, or mass Void Ray into a Twilight Council, into Charge Lots, into a ground focus army to support the Zealots, which we have seen from Hero, for example, going mass Charge Lot Void Ray. And there it is, Twilight Council. So Forge into +1, Twilight Council into Charge. So it looks like it is going to be that quote-unquote hero style. I don't know if he made it, but I know that he did popularize it for a time, going mass Void Ray into Charge Lots. As we're getting into that though, Roaches are amassing. +1 range on the way, Roach speed on the way. YoungYakov is still squeezing out workers here, so it looks like just to save the amount of Roaches, we're still droning, still saturating, we're still building up into the mid-game, and I don't think this amount of Void Rays have been revealed yet, until now. Okay, here we go. Ooh, a couple of Void Rays are spotted by the Zergling. Up until this point, these 3 Void Rays were kept at home, and now they're being revealed for the first time. And can we focus on the expansion? Can he get the Lair? How many queens? 5. 5 queens. They're all spread out. They're mainly at the 3rd. Can we focus on the expansion? Goes for the Eva Chamber. Okay, doesn't go for the Lair. The Eva Chamber is going to go down. A nice pickup. Denies the upgrade. If the Spore wasn't there, there's a chance we might have gotten a dive on the Lair itself. Would have been risky to try to bring it down, though. Regardless, denies the upgrade, and bam, Spire. Spire instantly going to be thrown down. We have additional Void Rays on the way. Roach is forced to counterattack, and YoungYakov, what can he bring down before he gets cleaned up? As Void Rays, they race back home. And remember, there are no warp gates, so there's no reactive warp in. Yeah, without a reactive warp in, there's going to be nothing to defend here. We just break down the front door. Void Rays are trying to keep up. Gateways, they're not producing. We can't make anything. Yeah, we cannot make anything. The Tosis Pylon goes down, but the Void Rays do defend. Okay. Void Rays defend. Mining is going to be denied at the natural, but honestly, this could have been a lot worse. This could have been so much worse. Again, the lack of warp gates was concerning when it comes to defenses, but hey, the Void Rays, they hold their own. That's a lot of Void Rays. We have how many? 8 Void Rays so far. 8 Void Rays into Temple Archives, into Storm. We still haven't reached that Gateway Explosion yet, but we're getting there. We're almost there. Mutaplay. Interesting. I mean, did we scout the main? We did. So, in the main base, what did we see? Twilight Council and the Temple Archives. This screams, and also because the common follow-up here from Void Ray is Charge Lot, there's a very high chance, from YoungYakov's perspective, there's no Blink, right? There's a very high chance there's no Blink Stalkers, so going to Mutas does make sense here. Void Rays are much more immobile. There is a chance here for Mutas to avoid the Void Rays, to bust into Mineral Lines, and to get economic damage done. To get economic damage done. Yo, what is this soundtrack? I feel like this is too serene for this game, but sure, it's... I'm curious to hear, like, what songs that we rotate through. Okay, now we're ramping up. Okay. There we go. Mutas are amassing. 3rd Stargate's on the way. There are some Archons on the ground to support, for sure. Mutas make the way into the natural. There's no battery. There was no scouting. Remember, ReBellioN, he has no idea. He has no idea what's going on. Mutas, they do hit the mineral line. Going for the Tosis Pylon once again. Does go for the pylon. Depower some of the gateways. Hits the mineral line. That's a lot of probes going down. Void Rays is so late to react, so late to respond. And 9 probes falling. Does get 1. Does get 2 voids. Has to respect the Archons. But so far, good damage. So far, the damage has been done. Behind this, we're going for the full switch into Phoenixes. It will take some time. Mutas, they rotate over. We have Link support on the ground. Roaches as well. And can we deny the 4th? Oh, does dive once again. Yeah, gets to the Void Ray. Takes down the cannon. Lings, they hit the 4th expansion. And Mutas, they have to be careful. Yeah, they're going to be chased down. Yakov actually committing to more Muta production, and he will kill the expansion. This is what matters here. Kills the 4th. Yeah, kills the 4th base. Again, abusing the immobility here of ReBellioN. Does take down one more Void Ray, but a lot of mutas go down in the process. That was a rough trade. That was a very rough trade for YoungYakov, but the Ground Army! The Ground Army breaks through the front door, takes down the Zealots, takes down the Archon, and can we get into the mineral line? We can. Yeah, we can get in. Breaks through the Zealots, gets into the mineral line, Lings, they do flood in, and this is going to be critical damage. The fourth base is fallen, the third base is fallen as well. Eventually the Void Rays will kill everything eventually, but by the time they do, what's going to be left? What's going to be left back? Ay, ay, ay. And again, this is an outside of relying on purely Stargates. We do have a couple of Warp Gates now finishing up, but it does feel too little too late. Too little too late here. As the third may go down, it's going to be close. Can we get it? Can we get it, Pappy? 200 HP. Oh my god, Lings, they do trickle in. 150. 10-0. There we go. The third base goes down. Massive pick of ReBellioN stuck on 2 expansions, stuck on 2 bases, and he just cannot stabilize from here. Behind this, YoungYakov, 87. 87 workers, a mass economy, a mass amount of bases, building up his own Roach Hydra. Hydra Den is on the way. We have a couple of Corruptors to help out against the Void Rays, or specifically to help out against the Phoenixes. So the Corruptors have been sprinkled in. Hydras are building up, and ReBellioN just cannot recover from this moment from here. Behind this, there's no Storm, there's no tech. If we had a solid economy, then Storm would be on the way. A greater Archon, a greater High Templar count as well, a greater Ground Army. Here we're mainly stuck with Skytoss, but it's a very flimsy Skytoss army with very little support on the ground. We just can't afford it. We cannot afford it. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Luis GGG. Luis, gracias, papi, gracias. Bienvenidos. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. For those who don't know, Luis, he is a Terran player, does stream a lot of his ladder. And thank you so much. Thank you so much here for the raid. Do appreciate it. We'll get into some Terran later on. Don't you worry. We have Beyond in the bracket. We have Nick Rack in the brackets. We'll be casting some Terran players later on in the broadcast. But now we have our PVZ. And Yakov is moving in for the kill. He's going in for the kill. Lings a peel up in towards the fourth. Again, there is no Storm, so there's no Templar to worry about. We don't have to worry about splitting. We can just commit. We can just commit in. Oh. As ReBellioN technically does defend his fourth base. True. The fourth base is slowly getting up and running. But again, there's just barely a ground army here to support. We got 2 Archons. We got 3 Archons now. 3 Archons have arrived. We have a couple of Zealots as well. Yakov just rallying everything across the map. We be rallying. Oh. Takes out the initial Archon. There's still 2 left here, and again, they tank as best they can, but they're still going down. All 3 Archons full. We start to step in, and with that, ReBellioN has been broken. He has been broken. He's down to 1 Void Ray, down to 0. He's got 2 Phoenixes, a handful of Zealots, and we just rally. And GG gets called the Queen's Waddle as well, and YoungYakov will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Yakov, he will claim a lead in the series. And again, a really interesting build here by ReBellioN, going Void Ray into quadruple Void Ray, double Stargate. I will say a lot of this came down to the initial Void Ray timing. Remember, the 4 Void Rays revealed themselves and they were unscouted, and it looked like the goal was to kill the hatchery, but they settled on the Evo chamber, and they did deny +1, but there wasn't really much else gained from there. That triggered a counterattack. In the end, the natural was exposed, forced him to defend back at home. It led into a more shaky defense, into a strong timing, of course, which eventually broke the 4th expansion. A lot of it did come down to lack of scouting, though. Remember, what did we see? Mass Muta, right? It was Roaches into Spire into Mass Muta, which went unscouted. One of the big reasons why this was unscouted, though, is because there were no oracles. Remember, it was a Void Ray opener, not oracle, so very limited scouting information out of the Protoss player. Didn't know that mutas were coming, didn't know that Mass Muta was going to hit his natural, so he was woefully underprepared. GG. That's one of the risks you take when you open up Void Ray like this, is your scouting information is much more limited without oracles, as you're stuck producing nothing but Void Rays. But here we go, spawning in the top right hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the red Zerg player. We have the red Zerg player himself leading the series 1-0, representing Stowny Balls. It is YoungYakov. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing among SC2 people. It is ReBellioN. Let's go. Let us go. So we're now getting into game 2. Welcome to the Old Republic. The Old Republic is I would say a little bit smaller than Winter Madness, of course. Has a shorter rush distance by ground, but not the shortest, not by any means, not compared to Tourmaline or Ruby Rock or 10,000 feet, for example. But what's more important here is how open the 3rd and 4th base are. It has very open expansions. We've seen many a player attempt and struggle and fail to defend the 4th expansion. Whether this is low ground 4th base or the linear 4th base, it's a little more further away. There's a little more space and distance in between your bases, or it's a little more open and exposure on the low ground and multiple attack options as well. We have seen many a player struggle here, and in general we do favor we favor Zerg players denying and breaking a Protoss attempting to get a 4th base. That's typically the dynamic here. Not saying it's impossible to defend the 4th, but it is quite difficult. What we have seen be quite successful from top Protoss players is to be aggressive on this map. What is going on? Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, Happy. We do not wall off at all. A 2-gate opener out of ReBellioN. And we're rushing into warp. Oh, we're going for a 4-gate. So this is one of the new builds. Now, what did we mention earlier? Warp Gates is now on the gateway, so you don't need a Cyber Core. So you can rush Warp Gate. We get 2 gateways back at home. And what did we say at the start of the broadcast? One of the big changes here for Protoss is that the warp-in mechanic has been buffed. What does that mean? That means that you only need 1 pylon for speed warp-ins, for fast warp-ins. You don't need a proxy anymore. You don't need a gateway alongside it. And even if we had a gateway, the warp-in in the PTR is faster than the warp-in in the live game when it comes to warp gates. So again, we're going to be warping in 3. I'm imagining 4 warp gates into just an all-in across the map, and we'll see if YoungYakov can be. Oh, he's in the main. He gets scouted. The pylon's in the main base. He gets scouted. Spine crawler is on the way here for YoungYakov. Getting his spine up and running. It's going to be 3 gateways back at home, not 4 gates. Warp gate is almost done, and we can warp in instantly here across the map. But we still need to warp in the rest of the warp gates, though. Here we go. We have 3 warp gates warping in. Pylon is under fire. Can we save it? Can we save the pylon? What is it, 3 seconds? Yeah, 3-second warp in. ZvP will finish. And we have to wait for the cooldown to come off. As we're getting another pylon. Okay. We're getting more pylons. Yeah, more pylons. So it's going to be always 1 base 3 gate all in. We're waiting for another warp in. So far the ZvP hold their own. Getting us over the queen. The boys are being pulled. And here comes another warp in. Here comes another warp in, just barely. It's going to be close, but the Spine Crawler adds so much DPS here. That Spine Crawler is the backbone of the army, and with that, all the ZvP should go down. Yeah, it takes down 3, 4, soon to be 5 Zealots, and with that, the all-in is failing. Again, YoungYakov, he was so quick to start his Spine Crawler once he saw that pylon. You know what that tells me? That tells me that he's run into this on the ladder before. To have the instant Spine Crawler reaction here, so he's been cheesed out before, but he takes out both pylons. 2 Spine Crawlers up and running as well. We did get 1 more warp in on the low ground with there are 3 Zealots left, but YoungYakov, he's perfectly fine against this. Perfectly fine. GG gets called, the all-in fails, and YoungYakov, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. GG, well played. I appreciate that ReBellioN was able to whip out something very unique to the PTR because of the warp gate, because of the new warp-in mechanic. Like, he was able to showcase this instead, but again, based on the reaction here, at least from my perspective, it looks to me like YoungYakov has played against that before. It looks like he's been cheesed before, because it was so quick to get that Spine Crawler up and running. And again, without that spine, I can see that working. I can see the Zealots overwhelming. Not just that, I should also say, if the pylon wasn't scouted. Remember, it all began because the pylon was scouted in the main base. If that had gone unseen and unscouted, different story, right? Like, suddenly there's no Spine Crawler, there's no extra links to defend, and suddenly we get extra warp-ins. We can even hide the Zealots, get a second warp-in going, and then I can see that working for sure, 100%. But GG well played. With that, YoungYakov, he scouted, he responded, and with that, YoungYakov, he will claim the series. Let's go. GG well played. Whew. And with that, YoungYakov, he'll advance on into the next round, and we are waiting for our next opponents. Let's catch up on the bracket itself.